Breaking news from the NBA. Looks like James Jones is off to the league. He's going to join. He's following up with the NBA's association. And also we've got some news as far as some ex-Suns. It's all happening right now. Southwest Bias.
Get that stuff out of here. It's Southwest Bias.
What the fresh hell's going on? Southwest Bias. Well, Rock hanging out with you, and we were going to start the show with Marc Stein's report that Chris Paul and Bradley Beal could both reunite at the LA Clippers, but we come with breaking news from our guy, Chris Haynes, the Haynes Report. Of course, James Jones, former architect of the Phoenix Suns, recently, I guess we could call it, is it fair to call it a demotion out of the general manager spot? Yeah, he's gone, and now he's officially gone. He is going to
he's going to be the executive vice president of and head of basketball operations for the league.
There you go. Is his first move to trade for Kevin Durant? Is Kevin Durant going to join the NBA league offices under James Jones? What's going to go on with James Jones? It seems like this was inevitable, right? I mean, after you saw James Jones this offseason have to take a different role, removed from building the Suns roster to other spots within the organization, you just say, well, that's just kind of that's a fake title. That's nothing that's going to impact this team as far as its basketball operations truly going forward. But now you have James Jones departing to replace Joe Dumars in the NBA office. And I think Joe Dumars had a similar transition from when he was a solid GM for the Pistons way back when they were shocking NBA watchers in the early 2000s with finals runs. And then he kind of fell off. He transitioned to the league office, and it looks like James Jones, according to Chris Haynes, is going to follow in his footsteps. And look, good for James Jones. I mean, we all like James Jones overall. Were we happy with how he kind of operated and constructed this team down the last two seasons? And they went from finals team to sure having Kevin Durant, but seeing wins fall off, things kind of taper off, and then be 10 games under 500 and out of the playoffs. Again, it's unfortunate. Boom Shakalaka is thinking Joe Dumars ruined the Pistons, but look, he had a lot of good years with the Pistons before he did ruin it. Look, I mean, sometimes production falls off. The league changes. You either adapt and evolve, or you get left behind, and new league concepts overtake you, and you were once good general manager, once good player, one good coach, and if you don't adapt, the league will pass you by. James Jones had some good time here in the Sun. He did. He was part of a successful run for this organization, but I don't think it pains anybody to bid him farewell and just wish him as well as possible to the league office.
What's the saying? You either die a GM or live long enough to work for Adam Silver?
Is that the old saying?
I think so.
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, my grandfather passed that down to me. It was one day, I was just sipping some lemonade, and he spoke those wise words to me.
I want to work for that goblin-looking man.
Adam Silver in the league. Wow Factor. What's up? No Espo. That's me. Bo Espo, or Espo as we've been calling myself around here. We've got, James Jones took some swings, man. You can't say that the man did not really try to put this team over the hump and deliver the first championship. And it did kind of burn things to the ground. And now Matt Ishbia has turned to other people to pick up the pieces, kind of sift through the ashes and rebuild this thing. And I think the organization in a good spot from what we've seen from Brian Gregory, even though there was skepticism early on, and me included. Brian Gregory has done a fine job in taking, what was one of the biggest problem rosters in the league, if not the biggest, with big time, roadblocks to roster building around Devin Booker, which they want to do. he's done a fine job. Now we're still waiting for, the other shoe to fall here for Bradley Beal. It's been something we've been talking about, covering ad nauseum. I agree with you. We're going to lead the show with it today before the James Jones stuff broke, seconds before we went live. But James Jones exiting the organization, it's fine. I don't know if he's probably not going to get a parting gift or anything, but he gets a good luck, sir. Enjoy. I'm sure he's gonna maybe move to New York. Is that where the league offices are?
I think so.
Yeah, good for James. Good for James.
That wouldn't be bad.
Enjoy the old concrete jungle, as Alicia Keys and Jay-Z talked about.
What a great song. This is the show to get off topic on. But speaking of getting off topic, let's get off topic a little bit and talk about living in big cities. What's your thoughts on that? I know you have a truck, so
yeah,
wouldn't really want to do that, right?
Would you consider Phoenix a big city?
No, I'm talking like Chicago, LA, New York.
So I originally grew up in DC.
Okay.
In the outskirts. I won't say like I was a city boy and I was riding the bus to school. I wasn't. But no, I mean, I need some sort of semblance of a big city. I absolutely do. Like I need things to do. I can't just go out and just live off the land and just be left to my own devices and come up with fun things to do. I have to have, I got to have things going on around me. I need a little certain hustle and bustle, but at the same time, I don't want to be also like truly embrace the city life. But yeah, wow factor nailing it. I mean, good luck to James. We wish him the best here. And now it's like, can this organization, now it comes down to the Phoenix Suns, can they continue to kind of turn the page on what was a failed experiment? One that I think all of us would have signed up for. James Jones became, went down with the ship to an extent with this one, and then was able to find himself some footing as far as the league offices. And like James Jones has a lot of respect from around the league. I mean, because of a long playing career where obviously he spent some time with Miami and LeBron James and, some who's of the NBA, and really kind of cultivated some really strong relationships. And it put him in a position to where the Suns felt confident with him, very little experience a couple of years ago, to put him in the GM seat post, Ryan McDonough. And, said, look, we need to get to the next step of this thing. We need to rid ourselves of being a lottery team. And James Jones took that and put the team in a really favorable position and put them, in a spot to where they damn near won the whole thing. But then how there's levels to it where you've got to be able to, when you get to the finals and you don't win the final game of the season and somebody else has the confetti raining down on them and you're the one that's not popping champagne, you got to figure out, okay, we got really far. We got farther than, most of the league, but how do we take that next step? And, when you're playing with the odds that high, that stacked, it's tough. And James Jones, and I'm sure he had a lot of, persuasion and pressure from new ownership to make some deals and kind of fit some, square pegs and round holes. We just saw that this roster quickly deteriorated, and now, picking up the pieces. And when we kind of merge the two kind of topics, like two breaking stories or reports, right? Chris Haynes talking about James Jones being the successor to Joe Dumars in the league offices. You look at what Marc Stein's reporting, that both Bradley Beal and Chris Paul could be joining together with the Clippers. This is Stein saying the Clippers salary cap management has indeed opened up the door for signing both Beal, conditional on the Phoenix buyout. Like, it continues, we're on buyout watch. We continue to be on buyout watch, and reuniting with Chris Paul. The Suns and Clippers have been two potential spots for Paul since June 29th, and it's been covered there, and you can check it out. Follow the link. Make sure you're following, of course, the Stein line. Fantastic work he does here for ALLCITY and DLLS. I look at this as two things. We covered it yesterday with Bradley Beal. Don't let the door hit you kind of scenario there. Like, you can sign anywhere, you can land anywhere but here, basically. And then there's the Chris Paul part of this. And I know Espo's covered it. I know the guys over at PHNX Suns have covered it. Like, what does a reunion look like? Would you embrace that? I don't want to be political here. I don't want to ride the fence here, but I'm a bit indifferent on it. Like Chris Paul, I see the value in Chris Paul. If he were to come here with a bunch of experience and an ability to kind of show a young roster, just kind of the ways of being a pro at the NBA level. I see the value there. I see Chris Paul. CP3 has always been somebody that has embraced his role and has been somebody that is not going to get in the way of progress as far as building an NBA roster. I mean, he went to San Antonio last year. He's made several stops around the league. But at the same time, if the Clippers are going to go out there and they're going to best the Suns offer, I'm also not going to sit there and say, well, damn it, what the hell? This is going to stop the Suns from going to where we wanted to go in 2025 and beyond. It does very little to impact that. I think that, Chris Paul certainly from a basketball standpoint could put Devin Booker and crew in positions to have just a little bit more success. But overall, where does it put the Suns as far as a team that was on the outside of the playoffs, completely looking in? Could they be a playoff team, a play-in team? Could they be, French, just firmly inside the playoff picture there? I think that's something we're going to learn a lot about, especially next week when we see these young players hit the hardwood in Summer League. But, Chris Paul and the Clippers and them taking on potentially those two veterans, it's like the tale of two different Western Conference teams trying to find their way that aren't the Oklahoma City Thunder, that aren't, even the T-Wolves, you could say, they're a bit in flux and trying to figure out where they go to next. But the Suns are going with the youth movement, and sign me up for that. I would much rather see a roster that is infused with young players that were drafted and are going to be developed. And I'm not naive to what that entails. You have to go through you have to take the lumps, and you're going to see guys that are going to go through the flows of NBA season like we did with Ryan Dunn when he wasn't being shunned to the bench from Mike Budenholzer unjustly during stretches of last season. But I understand that you're going to have some growing pains there. And that's good because it's necessary. The only way, I cover the Cardinals, and Jonathan Gannon talks about the only way you get better at football is playing football. So the fact that Chris Paul potentially wouldn't be standing in the way of Kobe Brea or somebody getting some minutes for the Suns, I'm all for it. The way that you can expedite a rebuild and put Devin Booker back in a position to have success at this league and make a deep playoff run is developing this team. And it's not just developing a team to where you have players at the end of the year that you drafted and they're going to be, these key pillars as far as your next deep run. You develop them. Could they turn into assets to where you could get another running mate with Devin Booker? It's it's Devin Booker and then all these other pieces around him. Even Jalen Green. And I know we didn't know what was going to come from Houston with Jalen Green. Was he going to stay on the team, or was he going to be somebody that was going to turn into an asset? But I think it all becomes a bigger picture here, and you've got more pieces now involved. And Gregory and his front office staff have done a decent job about it. So as far as Bradley Beal and Chris Paul reuniting in LA and James Jones exiting for another job outside of the organization, it's not something that you're going to see many Suns fans, myself included, get upset about, but maybe that's just my Southwest bias. We officially welcome in Shane Diefenbach to the program. You heard his voice earlier, but welcome, Shane.
Hello, friendos.
I love that little sound.
Do you want to see our other one here? You might need to hold your breath for a second while we transition.
Okay.
Go ahead. Hold your breath. Okay, there you go.
Wow. I don't like this.
Yeah, I debuted it last week for a little bit. Your face is just a little too small.
Yeah, I look like Jacques Cousteau.
Yeah, so we can go back to this.
There we go. Yeah, this is much nicer.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm just confused. So I've got my desk, and then I got another desk.
Just don't look too much into it.
Okay.
Though.
All
Here,
right.
hold on. There. Is that better? Does that make more sense for you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
So am I what is this setup? Am I like a country schoolboy?
You're thinking about it too much.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
Yeah. James Jones, any thoughts?
I think you hit the nail on the head. The tenure he had was soured a lot by the last couple of years. Look, I think you're crazy. We've talked about this many times, but I think you're crazy to say that if you can get Kevin Durant on your team and you have the opportunity to, you'd be foolish not to, one, think about it, but two, probably do it.
Mm-hmm.
And things didn't pan out here, but people also forget how that team was tracking before they traded those two beloved twins. So, he built a championship contender. Like, a bad GM doesn't do that. And the Ishbia stuff, we don't know what's really going on behind the scenes, but things changed once he came in. So who's to say whose fault it is? And I don't think we'll know for a while, if ever.
Yeah, I mean, we see when I talk about kind of the parallels or the comps as far as Ishbia and Clippers ownership. Why can't I think of his
Ballmer?
Ballmer, yeah. Both two guys who are dead set on winning.
Yeah.
They want to take and give these organizations, these fan bases, what they've been craving for so long, and it's championship. And like you'll see, like the pressures in LA for them to continue to like build around Kawhi and James Harden, and don't they have like Josh Collins there now? And
traded Norm Powell for him. It's just gross.
They just shift things around, but it's often you're like, that's the same, different parts, but it's the same team.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, Bradley Beal fit that so well, and I'm glad that Ishbia at least, and this is a small sample size because we're only months removed from tearing it down, that he's embracing this to an extent.
Yeah, the pieces thing is ironic with the Clippers because the Clippers are named after, I think, are they named after a ship or are they named after? Yeah, they're Clippers are ships.
Ship.
Yeah, because it is Theseus's ship. That team. It is. You take apart one piece of wood and put in another piece of wood. Is it still the same thing? Yeah, it is. It's the exact same thing.
A sinking ship.
A sinking ship. I will say, Ballmer not only wants to win in basketball, but also life. He just really tries as hard as he can.
Yeah.
That video of him at the Microsoft announcement is one of the greatest videos of all time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look up Steve Ballmer Microsoft, like, I don't even know what you like, presentation. It'll come up. It's
like a Microsoft pep rally.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my God, it's so awesome.
And it's like all the nerds.
Yeah, all the nerds, and they're like this, and then Steve Ballmer's like, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's king nerd.
Yeah, but he's like kind of cool.
Yeah. I mean, he's a billionaire.
Yeah. Well, no, cool. I mean, like in the video, like in comparison
compared to like Bill Gates.
In comparison to Bill Gates.
Anybody standing next to Bill Gates looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, but credit. Like, I don't like these owners, especially ones that are really set up financially. Ballmer's one of the richest guys in the world, at least was when he bought the Clippers. Yeah. Like, they want to win so bad, and sometimes that they put pressure on their general managers into making bad decisions, and their will to win is misguided. Especially it's like you're coming from tech, you're coming from something mortgages,
where
right?
You can buy a win.
You can buy a win, absolutely. Can't do that in the NBA. You can't do that in the NFL, cap leagues, or
You can do that in the MLB.
Yeah, you could certainly do that. I mean, we'll see what happens with the Lakers now that they're owned by Dodgers ownership, which they just purchased a couple World Series. So yeah, it's no ill will towards James Jones. Like, you think about the great Suns teams that we love to watch. It was back when it was the run and gun team. Even before that, they had success. Like, you think of Colangelo ownership. You think about Colangelo, his son, when he was the GM before going on to Philadelphia, and his wife creating burner accounts and all that outrageous scandal. Like everything up until the 2010s, where they were just 10 years of futility. It was James Jones taking them out of the darkness.
Yeah. And
it was unbelievable. And it was like, you thought, who has it better than us? Nobody. And then quickly you find out, hey, professional sports is really hard, and you might be set up for success, but you can, with one false move, you can really screw it up. I saw, some criticism of James Jones drafting. I think about James Jones and who he brought into the organization via the NBA draft. And, McDonough, he had the draft where it was Ayton, Mikal Bridges, and then he was quickly dismissed. And then was it Cam Thomas? I mean, you got to give him credit for Cam Thomas, right?
Cam Johnson?
Cam Johnson, yes, Cam Johnson, yeah. But then you've got, but then it was quickly kind of fell off after that. It was like Cam Johnson, and then not much after that. So, kid out of Maryland,
Sticks,
my
goat. when Tyrese Halliburton was there.
Right.
Beast.
It's tough. But James Jones, if you missed it, the report from Chris Haynes is the successor to Joe Dumars in the NBA front office. But Suns thing, I mean, things are only going to get better here for the Suns as they continue to shed members that we were blaming for the fall of this franchise. And we look forward to Summer League and of course, hope springs eternal with all, potential there in Vegas. What's going on as far as the Arizona Diamondbacks? What in the fresh hell did I watch last night? I feel for you Diamondback fans. We're going to get into it. It's all right here. Southwest Bias. Oh, man. Yeah. James Jones, money early in his career. Not so much afterwards. You don't want to mess around when it comes to your money. How about Mountain America Credit Union? Of course, committed to helping more than 1 million members, hundreds of branches throughout the West. And this month of July, they're going to give you 2 times the points in rewards credit card purchases through July 31st. That's right. Double rewards right now. It's like you doubled as far as a Suns fan. Like James Jones exits. Could you get a Bradley Beal exiting as well? 2 times the fun there. Mountain America Rewards Card. Watch points pile up with perfect for gas, groceries, travel, home projects, and other purchases. It's way easier to stretch your dollar with Mountain America Credit Unions and their double rewards points, travel rebates, gift cards, event tickets. Loans are approved on credit. Offer can be changed or withdrawn at any time. Limited time offer. Terms applied. Terms and conditions apply. Of course, all the details, macu.com/double. That's macu.com/double. Man, oh man, you got that. A Mountain America Credit Union. Also, you've got some great stuff going on with VMe. You want to throw down some bets, some wagers, some one-on-one, maybe some group challenges, but maybe you're hesitant because you had to go chase that money. You had to send endless Venmo requests. Well, no more of that. VMe is the best app for person-to-person betting you can find because they take all that chasing down money out of the equation. Anyone, anything, anytime you can bet on. I can put down this glizzy at the turn while we're playing golf, or I can chug this beer faster. I can do more push-ups. Like, it's for anybody who is competitive and ready to throw down some challenges and get it going with your buddies or with one of your other buddies, co-workers, whatever. Maybe fantasy football is coming up. VMe is the app for you. Download the VMe and play today. Using code PHNX. It's available at the App Store and Google Play. VMe, anyone, anything, anytime. Guys are crushing it in the chat. Generational hater. Over under for the Suns is 30.5 wins. It's pretty sobering from the odds
is that
makers.
A real number?
I'm gonna have to, if you could fact check that a little bit.
365.
I mean, that would be just about 5.5 win.
Yeah, I mean,
from last year.
It wouldn't be out of the question.
I think I hammer that.
The over?
Yeah, I think I hammer the over on that.
I don't know about that. It's hard for me to feel optimistic.
The biggest thing is you're going to have to get exceptional health from Devin Booker. Like this, when you think about this Suns roster, you wouldn't have Devin Booker on any given night. It is kind of scary because then it comes down to you've got Jalen Green and then a bunch of really young players. Great.
31.5 with our friends at Bet365.
Bet365, 31.5. Yeah, man, I'm a little scared with that that extra win. I'm saying hammer 30.5.
Don't know if I like 31.
31.5. Ooh, yeah, it's the old Drake meme, right? Over under for the Diamondbacks this year, well over 30. Obviously it's Major League Baseball, and the Diamondbacks got a great start from Merrill Kelly last night. 7 innings, scattered 4 hits, gave up 1 run, only struck out 4. Great start from Merrill Kelly, who's stepping up. You got a great start from Zach Gallen the other night after Gallen has been struggling, consistently throughout the season. You turn on the game last night, and you're like, this team can get to 500, but not once, but twice, they hit a ball that looked like it was destined for the seats, and a Padres outfielder pulled it back. 2 robbed home runs, and they lose 1-0. And you're probably sitting there after the game, after Bethune goes off and signs off, and you're probably just still sitting there like, what the hell do I have to do as a Diamondbacks fan? You get the start. You get 2 potential long balls, one from Corbin Carroll, the other one from Josh Naylor, and you've got Jackson Merrill and Fernando Tatis Jr. acting like Superman, going up and over the wall and pulling those balls back. And you're just like, what do we have to do? We get a good start. We get a good inning of relief from Curtis, who was shut down, but we still can't exit with a win. We can't get to 500. It's got to be as frustrating as it possibly because you would think just getting those 2 wins potentially to start the series off with the Padres, get a series win, immediately going in, just days away from the All-Star break and being right around 500, that would have been incredible for the Diamondbacks. We, of course, 10.5 out of the division, a little bit closer to wild card, but just completely just ripping your heart out of your chest cavity, watching not 1 but 2 balls just get ripped from the stands. And it was like Corbin Carroll, like, welcome back. It looked like he was going to, find himself after returning from injury. And he can't even, you got Jackson Merrill saying, no, not today. No, I'm not. That's not going to happen. So Diamondbacks, like, the closer situation continues to get murkier. Our guys over there, Derek at PHNX D-backs, putting out the news. You've got Shelby Miller going on the shelf. It's just countless amounts of arm injuries for this ball club, and you're sitting like, okay, no Justin Martinez, no AJ Puck. You don't even get option number 3 or 4 and Shelby Miller, and you just got really you're taking popsicle sticks, you're taking Scotch tape and Elmer's glue, and Torey Lovello is trying to just patchwork together a bullpen, and it just continues to be like you don't get any relief as a Diamondbacks fan, and it's tough to string together wins consistently when you got a bullpen that much in flux, and then of course guys coming from the clouds to rip home runs out of the stands for the San Diego Padres. So Arizona Diamondbacks, a tough one last night after a good series opening win. Diamondbacks continue their series with the Padres, with the Dads, tonight in San Diego. We had some other news that dropped locally here yesterday, Shane. It was DeWanna Bonner returning to the Merc. Merc having a out of nowhere really solid season after saying goodbye to some key fixtures. But you bring back Bonner and you're like, okay, DeWanna, like, let's not mess up the chemistry. Let's see if we can kind of rekindle some old magic together one last time. We have any other, I know we did the hot take cannon. We got anything before we get out of here this edition of Southwest Bias?
No, we do everything pretty much all in. You can't all in anything with 2.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
So, no, I think we've done a really good job today, Bo.
We did have the Kenny Dillingham quote.
We did have the Kenny Dillingham quote. We can briefly touch on that. Yeah. This quote is kind of divisive amongst people that are people that know ball and don't know ball. Uh-huh. So the people that know ball are taking this as it is, which is how I'm taking it. Kenny Dillingham said something to the effect of, if you want to be paid like the best player on the team, then be the best player on the team, when he was asked about the NIL stuff. Because he said that the best players on the team are going to be the highest paid players on the team. And if you want to be paid like that, then be the best player on the team. And for some reason, people are divisive about this.
I don't understand that, especially as coming from a guy that's talking about how his players are underpaid last year. It was, the main quote, just basically as they were making their run to a Big 12 championship and a Peach Bowl appearance in the CFP. And Kenny Dillingham, to me, continues to strike all the right notes as far as NIL. And what, if it does exist, and it's always going to from now on, and you just hope it doesn't evolve into something just completely silly, but that it does come under those terms. Like, if you make a college roster, that's fantastic. Scholarships, like, there's guys that are still going to get, 6-figure college educations, and then you get to dabble in some earning power there. But to just show up and be on a college football roster and think you need to be, look, that's full transparency, and I think most people would appreciate that. It's refreshing, especially in this day and age. Make sure you like this video. You subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. You want more Suns info? Of course, our guys, PHNX Suns, they're going to be firing up at their usual time. Check out what's going on in Dallas from the Big 12 media days, I guess we'll call it. You got ASU, the PHNX Sun Devils, and of course AZ Wildcats. Check out those shows. And check me out, 4:30, PHNX Cardinals. We're talking about this team just weeks away from reporting to training camp. I'm in one more time for Espo tomorrow. Join me at 11 right here at Southwest Bias. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.